The weekend is here, we got SmackDown to talk about, and a lot of wrestling that news, rumors, and reports, and a lot about Roman Reigns, so let's get into it. And it looks like we got a lot to talk about when it comes to the tribal chief, the head of the table, Roman Reigns. And let's start off with some of those long-term plans, because it looks like we are headed to a Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns match, not just a crown jewel, but also at next year's WrestleMania. Brock Lesnar is set to feud with Roman Reigns next month, but he is apparently still part of the Monday Night Raw roster, despite reports saying that he will officially be moved to SmackDown. During this week's episode Friday Night SmackDown, as we got to see Roman Reigns question Paul Heyman about his claim that he did not know that Brock Lesnar was going to be at SummerSlam. Right now, Paul Heyman seems to be conflicting, but it could lead into him turning on Roman Reigns at a later date. So how we will get to WrestleMania? Well, right now, Brock Lesnar is considered to be a babyface, at least for his feud against Roman Reigns. He is set to get a title opportunity at Crown Jewel next month, since The Rock is not likely for WrestleMania 38 in Dallas, and Brock Lesnar / Roman Reigns was scheduled for an upcoming WrestleMania, it will make sense to do a screwjob finish in Saudi Arabia at Crown Jewel to set up the rematch at WrestleMania next year. But that is a while from now, so WWE's current plan is to split both superstars up, put them in different brands until WrestleMania comes around. Because Roman Reigns is not expected to lose the title anytime soon, according to Wrestling News.co, WWE is going to be keeping Brock Lesnar on the Monday Night Raw roster and Roman Reigns on SmackDown. Then closer to next year's big event, whether it is at the Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber, or Fastlane, they will likely tease Brock and Lesnar again and get it set up. That is at least the plans for now. Knowing WWE, anything could change within the next couple of months. And we just mentioned the draft that is going to be coming on October 1st episode Friday Night SmackDown and the October 4th episode of Monday Night Raw. Well, WWE is teasing what will likely be Roman Reigns' next massive challenge after dealing with Finn Balor and Brock, and that seems to be Drew McIntyre. According to local ads, WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns is set to take on Drew McIntyre in one-on-one competition on the first night of the draft. With them teasing something so big, it could easily mean that Drew McIntyre is likely headed to SmackDown, which we already got reports of before, and that Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns will be a thing. I could see this being one of the big main event of the Royal Rumble event. Drew McIntyre's booking in recent weeks has fueled speculation that he is moving to SmackDown, and Roman Reigns definitely going to need another top guy to feud against, so Drew McIntyre seems to be a good one. There's really no top babyface right now for Roman to face off on SmackDown, because most of them he already beaten them, and then now Big E is going to be part of Monday Night Raw, so that's not an option anymore. And yes, as if it wasn't obvious already, Wrestling News.co has heard that within WWE, there are rumors or sources indicating that Roman Reigns will probably stay on SmackDown. He will continue being part of that roster, so they're gonna have to bring opponents to him. Now this is of course being advertised locally, so this could just end up being a dark main event matchup, but usually if they're running a massive matchup like this, is because these guys might be ready to feud. Drew McIntyre alongside other Monday Night Raw superstar will be part of this SmackDown since it is the draft, so it should turn out to be an interesting show, and they definitely gonna need a massive main event. This could be it. Sticking with Roman, I told you guys we had a lot of Roman Reigns stuff to talk about today. He's already being advertised for Monday Night Raw this upcoming week, as we will be getting the Bloodline taking on the New Day. I thought they were gonna hold off for this all the way up to Survivor Series, but it seems like they want to give it to us already. On top of that, WWE already teased a Big E versus Roman Reigns at Survivor Series this year, so they're speeding up that feud between both teams already, and it's awesome. Some more quick news that Matt Men's Andrew Sarin ended up indicating that with AEW closing the gaps on Monday Night Raw's television numbers, especially the key demographics, and with the incredible week that they ended up having feeling last week. That could spell big problems if all of that continues. It already feels like WWE is on trouble with the USA Network, as Monday Night Raw just doesn't seem to hit as it should. So now with those AEW's rating just getting bumped up, WWE is certainly feeling that pressure. We had Matt Riddle confirming that he does got some backstage heat for his comments about Roman Reigns. Not long ago, he indicated that he will beat up Roman Reigns in a real fight and that Roman Reigns wasn't a needle mover. So during a recent interview, he indicated that those were not the most professional things for him to say, adding that the tribal chief is just in a whole nother level at this moment. I think maybe I got a little bit too big, and maybe I got a little bit of backstage heat, maybe a tiny bit. Unfortunately, I said some things that some people may not have liked, and I'm not going to mention names, but they didn't like it. I won't say it again, I get it. He ended by stating that Roman Reigns is the tribal chief and that everybody should acknowledge him. Quick result of what went down on this week's episode of SmackDown on September 17, 2021. The show started off with Roman Reigns telling the crowd to acknowledge him. Out comes Big E to show off his WWE Championship. Then out comes Finn Balor, so it is a Big E defeating the Uso in tag team competition. We had Rick Wishinski Nakamura defeating Robert Roode. At the end of this match, we had Apollo Crews and Commander Aziz attacking King Nakamura, so a future Intercontinental Championship matchup was set up. Happy Corbin unleashed a vicious attack on Kevin Owens. We had Seth Rollins with a very long promo, in which in the end he challenged Edge to another match at the third and final match so that he could finish things. And I'm excited for that, and I'm hoping that that has a big stipulation to end the feud. Toni Storm and Liv Morgan defeated Carmella and Selena Vega by count out. This is the first women's match on SmackDown in 3 weeks, and it lasted less than 2 minutes. So that means that by the time SmackDown comes around next week, in a span of a month, we will only have 2 minutes of women's wrestling on the Blue Brand. At least Liv Morgan is gonna take on Carmella at Extreme Rules. Sami Zayn defeated Dominic Mysterio. Rey Mysterio was cheering him on, but Dominic seems to be on this losing streak. The dynamic between him and his dad is very interesting, and it's obviously leading to something. We had Becky Lynch crashing Bianca Belair homecoming celebration. Kane actually returned and gave Bianca Belair the huge key of Knoxville, and then Becky did the manhandle slam to Bianca. Cause you know, it's the WWE, and if that is your hometown, chances are you're getting buried there. So that is all the latest news and what went down on this week's SmackDown. If you enjoy and want more pro wrestling coverage, make sure to hit those notifications and subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you on the next one, so stay savage.